Great. Hello, I'm Majbritt Byskov-Bridges. I am the co-founder of Alver. And at Alver, we have developed a whole range of high-protein vegan foods with our very unique golden chlorella, which is a microalgae. And I'll explain why it's unique. One part which was very interesting that came up in our discussion here was how there has been a shift. So already I think it's fascinating to see we're talking about fungi, we're talking about the next step. You know, plant proteins are not so much on the agenda as they were just a couple of years ago. We're sort of going to that next step. And what we're seeing also in terms of investors and in terms of the market was that we're seeing more and more investors looking into the sustainability side on how we can make it even more sustainable than plant proteins. And this was an interesting slide that came from McKinsey, clearly showing that alternative proteins are the biggest way and the quickest way we're going to reduce CO2 emissions. And you can see that massive drop of 7 gigatons of CO2 emissions. That leads into what investors have started to do now in the last couple of years. And here we can clearly see that plant proteins were really the big hype, and now we see 50% is actually investment going into such as fungi, such as fermentation, cultivated meats. And this is the space that we come into with microalgae. We can see that plant-based now is still in growth. There's still a way to go with plant-based. There's still development there, but it's become more mainstream. So really the innovation now lies in the fermentation side of foods, in the cultivation side of foods. And we can see the growth rates here about to just really, really take off. And it's very, very exciting because it means that many new companies are coming up with new ideas. So what we've done at Alver is that we have developed a golden chlorella, a diamond chlorella, and we have a red chlorella coming up next year. So chlorella or spirulina or microalgae are generally green and have had a problem being on the markets because of the taste, the color. They're difficult to mix. They overpower all the taste that you mix them in with. So what we've done is we have done a natural fermentation of our chlorella, and we have selected, because it's a unicellular, we've selected the cells that are more on the red, yellow spectrum that have the most carotene, and those are then the ones that we ferment. So it's a natural fermentation process. So we've selected the cells, we then remove anything that's green, and we just keep the ones with the most carotene. Those then go into a fermentation process. It's a heterotrophic fermentation. And we have our strains, they're fermented, they're washed, they're dried, they're packaged. The beauty of this is there is no extraction of protein. There's no transformation done along the way. It's the cell going from A to Z all the way through, and it comes out with naturally 40% protein. This is exciting because it can be incorporated directly into foods. So we have this range of high-protein vegan foods with our microalgae already incorporated into them that are very successful on the market. We're today the leaders on the European market when it comes to food with microalgae in them. But what's also fascinating is it's a protein, yes, plus it's got exceptional nutritional values such as magnesium, potassium, zinc, vitamin B, omegas, all of those wonderful things that microalgae have. Also, it has great functionality such as binding, emulsifying, and it mixes well. So it can be used in so many different types of products, whether it's sweet, savory, or even into functionality such as dairy alternatives, such as meat alternatives, fish alternatives. When we look at the sustainability, it's part of our main goal. This is where we're going towards. It's to help people reduce their meat consumption, to eat healthier, eat more varied, and get more nutrition out of the foods that they eat. We did a full LCA, life cycle analysis as well, and here we can clearly see that microalgae are an exceptional source of protein, requiring, for example, only 0.2% of the land that's required for the production of beef protein, and even that's 4 times less than for the production of soy. So really very, very sustainable in that factor. We also did a calculation. Instead of flights, we calculated in tons of CO2 that we would save. And already this year, we're saving 444 tons of CO2 with our production of microalgae. We're a female-founded company, so this is with my founder, Mina. She was the head of alternative proteins at Nestle. So for us, it's very important that going into the food industry, it tastes good, it mixes well, it's easy to use, it's easy to understand all of those factors there. This is our team, everybody very specialized in their own department. Even, for example, our sales director is a medical doctor. It gives a lot of confidence, especially coming out with new ingredients onto the market. We've won several competitions. We won the Natural and Organics Award for our product for being the best new specialty health product. We're then an impulse solution. We won the European Impact competition at the end of last year as well because of the sustainability of our protein. Silver medal in the global ESG competition, finalists, and in San Francisco at the Extreme Tech Challenge. Covering many of the SDG goals. This is really, I think, a big reason why most of us are here, is to work better with these. So, very clearly, Swiss state-of-the-art innovation. We're a European leader when it comes to foods with microalgae, and we want to maintain that position. That's also why we're currently in our Series A investment round, so if anybody does want to talk to me about that. And it's really for food scarcity, for food security for us all. Thank you very much.